It's really stuff like this that grabs your attention and makes the edit way more fluid. Because when it is this fast-paced, that really directs your look and it becomes easier to watch. And then that's when the music swells back again and... Hello everyone, my name is Leo, I'm a trailer editor, and today we're going to be taking a look at and analyzing the trailer for Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part... The Final Reckoning. That was a weird call. Now, this isn't your typical trailer reaction video. My goal is to learn with you the different techniques that Hollywood uses to make their trailers so effective. So without further ado, let's watch it. Wow.
Our lives are not defined by any one action. Our lives are the sum of our choices.
Damn.
Everything you are, everything you've done has come to this.
When the need for certainty is absolute and the odds are deemed impossible, the mission falls to him.
Should he choose to accept? For every life you tried to save, you gambled millions more. And now the fate of every living soul on Earth is your responsibility. That's the pattern, isn't it?
That theme playing.
You refuse to sacrifice the ones you hold close.
That looks good.
You've always been on the right side, brother. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
You could just tell that he was going to say one last time. That's like... that's a classic for a trailer. Ah, that was cool. You'll notice that the trailer is cut to the beat of the music, especially in this very beginning. I've marked on the timeline the music beats, which also coincide with the cuts. And they're all fading to black. We see a little bit, but then it fades to black just so it creates a little intrigue. Something interesting that I find in these establishing shots is that there's always a bit of movement in all of this, which really shows that this movie is really fast-paced. There's always something happening, right? It really helps to set the tone right away, even when the trailer starts a bit slow in the beginning. The dialogue also helps to set the tone, to kind of get you inside this world. It motivates the images, and it just adds this extra layer to the trailer. You can see here that about the 20-second mark, the shots just get a bit quicker.
Everything you are.
It's twice as many cuts as before. So the trailer is speeding up as the music is speeding up. And at this point, it's getting more chaotic. It's still consistent, but there's a lot more happening on screen that is motivated by the music. So if the music gets a bit more energetic, so does the image. I really love these match cuts with the knife. It's 3 in a row, but you can see that even while keeping the rhythm, they manage to grab your attention into one object. We see an image from the first film, Ethan dressed in black with a white background falling downwards, and then it cuts to a black knife, white background, falling downwards. Somebody is holding the knife as if picking it up, and then it cuts to Ethan years later doing a similar movement with the knife. So it cuts in the movement. So here it's moving downwards in the cut, and here it's moving to the right and to the right. It's little things like that, and they might not seem important when I point them out like this, but it's really stuff like this that grabs your attention and makes the edit way more fluid. Because when it is this fast-paced, that really directs your look and it becomes easier to watch. And they do that several times here in the trailer. Like here, I love this moment where this guy raises the two crosses, which are the two halves of the key. And as he raises them, moves them upwards, it cuts to Ethan, or we assume it's Ethan, rising in the shot as well, moving upwards. Again, small thing, but it really makes the edit way more fluid.
It's come to this.
You can see that the music changed a little bit. Now we have a different voice speaking, and the edit is just flawless. So we have these two planes moving from the left of the screen to the right. Then it cuts to these two vehicles. It drives your look from left to right. We cut to Ethan. We can tell that he's in one of these vehicles. And as the car hits the other one, Ethan gets shaked, and then he turns the wheel to the left, and there's this abrupt movement of grabbing the key. So this is all in a row. And she's on the left of the screen looking right, and then it cuts to Ethan on the left of the screen looking right. So one shot motivates the next shot, which motivates the next shot, which motivates the next shot. It's this chain reaction that works really well. And they do it with like 6 shots in a row.
When the need for certainty is absolute.
And here's another interesting thing. You might notice that this particular shot is moving backwards in time. So you can see that the water is not behaving naturally. If I play it backwards, it makes more sense. This was probably done just so we can have Ethan make the movement from looking at the water to facing the camera. We stay in this shot for longer, and we are looking at Ethan holding on to the key. And there's this little play on the classic speech from Mission Impossible: your mission should you choose to accept it.
Should he choose to accept?
And the editor managed to tell a little story here. The character that is speaking is mentioning that it is Ethan's choice to accept or not accept the mission that we have established is impossible. And as this line is being said and we see Ethan think, he grabs onto the key. The editor uses the beat of the music to accentuate that grabbing of the key. It's adding that emphasis to that movement, to that decision right after that line that really shows that he's making a really important decision, which is to accept the mission.
The mission falls to him.
Should he choose to accept?
We cut to logos. This is when the trailer slows down a little bit, focus more on the story, on the characters. That's when we start getting the copy next year. And the trailers for the Mission Impossible films always do this little nod to the main theme.
That's the pattern, isn't it?
And then there's this character moment with one of the side characters. Simon Pegg's character. We see him have this emotional moment with Benji, holding hands with someone, him and Luther hugging, smiling. Really emphasizes the stakes for this character, because you don't really get invested in the story just because the world's about to end. It's more about whether or not this will impact the main character emotionally. That's what we relate to as an audience, so it's always good to have that here. And this is when we really get into the action. You see that all of what's going on is way more intense, the cuts are way faster, and all of these scenes are left unresolved because it's unresolution that really grabs the audience's attention, that makes them want to go and watch the movie at the theater because they want to know what happened. Does he manage to grab onto the plane? Why does he need to grab onto the plane? There's a bomb here. Does he manage to defuse it? Does he manage to beat this guy? You don't just have to synchronize the cuts with the beats. You can synchronize an action beat with the beat of the music. Like the example of this kick here. And then when Luther starts speaking and the song is reaching its climax, we get the biggest action moments. And it's not just action, it's not just a resolution, we need to see characters. So we have these micro stories, as I like to call it. We see Grace laying on the snow looking at something. We cut to an explosion in the snow, so we know that it's related. We don't know what's happening, if she's going to make it. The camera moving towards Ethan and then the cars moving towards the camera indicate this sense of danger. These films are known for Tom Cruise's crazy stunt, so obviously you're going to have that as the climax of the trailer. And we don't see how that ends. We just have the cut to black. The music cuts as well, and we get this moment of silence. And it's only by the end of the trailer that we actually hear Ethan speak for the first time. And he's the one to close the trailer. He's the last person to speak.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Which also has a sort of meta commentary on the fact that this is going to be the last Mission Impossible film, at least with Tom Cruise. Or at least that's what they're insinuating. He might do this until he's 80. And then that's when the music swells back again and it shows the title of the film. This is a very simple and yet effective trailer, I think. I think it's really well cut. This trailer was cut by AV Squad. It's a big trailer company that cut many other trailers like Gladiator 2 that I've analyzed on this channel as well, amongst a variety of others. I hope that you liked this video and that you learned something. If you want to see more of these trailer analysis, I have a few others on my channel and I'm planning to do a lot more, so you can subscribe and wait for those to come out. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed it and keep watching trailers. Bye.